Hello, everybody. Welcome to Becoming Story, where real people share real journey. My name is Olabisi Gilbert, and today we have an amazing guest with us, one whose story is that of growth, commitment, and continuous evolution. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Joseph Ayoshi.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you on Becoming Story.
Same here. Same here.
Let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
What was growing up like for you? Were you handed opportunities? Were there limitations, drawback?
I was not handed opportunity, so let's take that one out of the way.
Okay, so
I think it was majorly growth, resilience, grit. Even though I really didn't know the meaning of those words, in hindsight, you understand that those were the qualities that you sort of put into practice in a way, because you just felt, okay, I didn't want to continue life like this, where I probably grew up in the slum, so what children turned out to be, and someone within yourself just felt like life could be better than this. You didn't want this, and the only way you could do it, the only way you felt that is, okay, I need to be focused on, I need to be focused on school, I need to be focused on studies, I need to just get it right, because I didn't want this kind of life for myself. So I think it started from there. So in hindsight, the words now will come to your, it was resilience, it was tenacity, it was grit. It was looking at the fact that, okay, I think I want to be crazy enough to change the world. I want to be crazy enough not to be at this level. I think that was basically for me.
Okay, you said you grew up in the slum. Actually a bit surprised. So when you say slum, where did you grow up, sir?
I grew up in Motion. Slum. So slum to the point that if I can display an average garage boy to you, and you would think, this guy, I didn't know. I can actually show, because I know those slangs, I know those things. In fact, if I go to the area, they still know me. They know me. So, but it's a different ball game. I think growing up then, what they usually call me is professor, because even though I was with them, the way the Bible will say it, you're in this world, but you're not of this world. That was the way it was. I was living with them, but definitely not with them. So, but they could also recognize is to say, this guy is set apart, this guy is sort of different. But nonetheless, it doesn't mean that I know those lines, I know it. So when it's time to show it,
go the street way.
When it's needed, I can bring it up.
I think there was a part of the story you mentioned that at some point you got malnourished and you had to send you back home. Can you just give us a summary of what happened?
Okay, so it was what I was told, the ticket. I think while I was born, then my grandmother wanted to, so I was the last one. Maybe they wasn't expecting me. So for the love my grandmother had for my dad, she wanted me to come to my city to be precise. When I tell people that, they wonder that, hey, so you not have turned out this way. And that's the very truth. Because in hindsight, it made me understand the fact that parents or guardians can really reshape the destiny of a child. Even though they will say destiny cannot be changed. There are some things that you will not even achieve destiny because of certain decisions that people have made on your behalf. I know God is a God of second chances, all of those things, but there are times whereby you will not just be able to get out of that. So I was moved to Okimesi. My grandmother was sort of saving costs for her son in a way. So those things that were, the normal things that you give a child, she was sort of mising it. So rather than giving me, maybe that's why I like Gary today a lot. So it was on one day my mom came around. No, you just want to come and check your son.
Yeah.
And I felt like, this boy is malnourished. Let me use the word kwashoko in a way, and felt like, okay. So he told my grandmother that, okay, let me just take him to Lagos. Let me just, this time around, I want to just spend a few time with him. But she knew in her mind that was the last time I was going to be in Messi. So I think that was where the story of being malnourished came from.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think I like the fact that you mentioned the fact that how experiences can just shape one's future and what the decisions people make on your behalf, not even the one you made by yourself. So let's fast forward to the interesting part when you finished university. After finishing university, I know you studied chemical engineering.
Yes.
And at the end of the university, obviously you had your goals. So you tell us about the goals you had,
okay.
And eventually you happened to pick up you had access to a laptop and internet because you were following a friend that was going to his own workplace.
Yes.
And you started learning data analysis by yourself, this was over a decade, over 10 years ago, when data analysis was not even really known to anybody. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, so let me just backtrack the journey. Yes, I studied chemical engineering. One would think that, you wanted to sort of work in an oil company. So that was the goal, obviously. Chemical engineering is where, probably work in Shell, Chevron, Mobil, Halliburton, But that was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Even though deep down, I actually wanted to teach. So I remember then I got my first admission was to study physics. I was studying physics before I said, I wrote another jam in chemical engineering. So I was going to make it. That was the way it felt like, because it's chemical engineering. Had I graduated, and lo and behold, the way you just write a lot of multiple tests, you had a lot of tests. And I remember there was one that I thought that was my bus stop. It was the final stage.
Yeah.
Where two, a younger colleague of mine then in school, a lady, or two. And because I inquired, because when you look at the score, I was number one. So, but they gave preference to a lady because they said, for this particular course, they wanted to sort of, the way you feel like, maybe somebody scored 90 and another person scored 85.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the best score 85, 90 is better.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
So that was the idea. And that completely kind of chattered me. I felt like, this was my last opportunity technically to really get into the oil field in code. And so it's sort of slipping off my hands. At first, I felt maybe they were sort of following me from my village, because I remember getting to Chevron interview, missing Chevron interview, not being able to get into Mobil because, it was just a whole lot.
Yeah.
An interesting part was the fact that colleagues that we were in school together, I saw some of them Total, some of them NLNG, NNPC, and I felt like, the way you just feel like, when I compare myself to this person, when we're in school, I was smashing now, but it wasn't working. It wasn't coming out. So I was tired of writing all these aptitude tests because what's the point again? So I felt, I need to get something doing. If the oil company, these jobs are not sort of coming, let me settle for something else. So I had a friend, still my very good friend. Still my friend is a brother to me now. We've been friends for more than 20 years now.
Lovely.
And so I was staying in their family house. So he goes to work every day. So I felt like, let me just follow you to work now. So that at least everybody in the compound will know that these guys, so they thought we were working in the same company. But in your mind of mind, you're jobless.
Yeah.
But at that time, one of the things I was doing was the fact that, because don't forget I mentioned I wanted to teach.
Yes.
So because then when I left secondary school, then university, I was always teaching around. So this skill or the ability was still there. I felt, let me just go back to tutor centers and be teaching. So I was making small money from there. Now, so it wasn't that I was really high to.
Yeah.
So the days I don't have periods, I will go to the guy's office, sit down.
Okay.
Now, my friend had a side business where we will sort of give people tour packages to travel to Dubai, to Maldives, or just the entire package from visa to tours and stuff like that. And a lot of these people, they don't have the bandwidth to go and queue at the visa place, so at the consular or the embassy. So somebody can queue on their behalf. So I will wake up like 3 o'clock, try to get on the bus from Yanopaja, So I think then it will charge them 5,000. Now the whole idea was that I was supposed to take a taxi.
Yeah.
Who betide me that I will take a taxi? Because of why? If somebody that wants to travel, obviously will pay for that taxi. Me, taxi. So I will just get this motorway. Before you know it, I'm already in Lekki now.
Yeah.
So I will queue. And they will. Now, interesting part was that some of these guys actually lodge in a hotel.
Okay.
Close by.
Yeah.
But they can't wake up on my queue.
Yeah.
So maybe around 9 o'clock, maybe it's like 3 people before it gets to them, they will now come.
Yeah.
And I've collected my money.
Yeah.
I will just go back home. So I'll go back to his office, Now there was a spare laptop for me to use. That way I sort of started learning it. And because I felt, okay, what is the other thing that you can learn from? And I will give this person, I know he may not know this, but I will give him a bit of, I will give him his flowers. His name is, I will mention his name. His name is Oluyede. He's the current MD of UAC. Then he was working with Procter and Gamble, and more like we were sort of. He knew me then in school. Was like a year ahead of me in school. He knew me then in school. So I was just chatting up with him, and he mentioned things around data, all of those things, and because was already in the working in the industry.
Yeah.
So that was where sort of heard about it, how it sort of relates. Then before then too, before I left Ife fully, I went back to sort of like a tutelage under my prof, just to learn a few things around how to sort of use data, but it was with machines. That was the only thing I knew about data. I thought it was machine, not knowing that, okay, you can also get data for human beings and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to pick a pocket of things that I've heard from. So I felt like, let me sit down and sort of see how these things work. So backtrack to that story. So I would make the money, and is that I go back to his office, or maybe I have a period to teach in one of the tutorial centers. I'll go there, teach also. They pay me, and I just gather the money, and I feel good. And I remember those days, I'll probably just send a bit of it to my wife now, to tell my girlfriend, say, hey, I made this money, because I felt like I needed to be responsible, even though I didn't have a steady job. I needed to show her that, hey, don't worry, it's just a matter of time. Just walk with me in this journey, and it will be exciting. So it started like that. So every night before if I won't sleep, I will sort of focus on those things and watch YouTube videos. It wasn't even common then, a lot of YouTube videos like that.
Yeah.
But I was also watching them. When I see, I will watch, learn from it. So what I used to do then was the fact that anything the guy does on that video, maybe a project, after watching it, I will replicate it. To the point that I will pause the data points that the guy used. I will start copying from that screen onto the Excel sheet. As in, I will copy it directly. How painstaking that kind of thing is. Copying something from the screen because I wanted to replicate the data. Now, I didn't know that, okay, I could just Google to say, okay, find this data, maybe possible and stuff like that. But I just thought, okay, let me just copy it from the way it is, and I will now replicate the same problem. Now, when I solve it, I keep it because I feel like, okay, now I understand it. So the whole idea was the fact that I wanted to understand. The only way I could be confident about what I was learning was that if I could replicate this thing, it means at least I have the knowledge of it. And that was how it started. Interestingly was the fact that when I learned all of those things, there was a training that I saw online. I think it was a training on Lean Six Sigma. I reached out to the guy to say that I would like to come for this training, but I don't have the money. Because at that time, Lean Six Sigma was also a ticket to enter into the oil and gas field. They used it a lot. I still wanted to go into oil and gas. Lean Six Sigma. So I told the guy I didn't have the money. The guy said I should pay half. Then it was 150,000. I think Lean Six Sigma now is about $1 million or something. He said I don't have it. I said, but I have something. I said I can, since he's doing the consulting, I can train people Excel. He will use that money to. Now, I had not trained formally Excel. Don't forget, I like teaching. But I knew that I was confident enough for the things I've learned to start training people. So he said I should come around and you will watch. Interestingly, that day, my angels were at work. I didn't fumble. I delivered excellently, and that was how I started. So I started training for him. Interestingly, I did the Six Sigma in code, like the way like to brother, and he just called me up one day that I should come and be training Six Sigma for him. So I started training Six Sigma. I started training Excel. So in kind of money was sort of coming in from that angle too. So I was doing a lot of things. So I will go, and when it's time to queue for visa, I will go and queue for visa. When it's time to go and do Six Sigma training, that was on weekends. I would do it. So my entire week was completely locked out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the story today. My week is always locked out because there is always one thing I'm always doing at every point in time. So those are the avenues I was sort of making money. And from there, I got connect to say, oh, come and teach my child for IGCSE, for advanced level. You know, when you're doing under A levels, it's more money. So I was now making money. So I felt like, okay, if you had all of this money together, but bad, no. It wasn't bad, really, because there were like multiple sources, even though, but you know, all of those things there. I think it was a client I had in the Kedge at GRA. I will work from, that's this Ikeja on that bridge to and fro, because I could not imagine that if I spend this money on transport fare, it will reduce the amount of money. So I wanted to keep my money. It's not that I don't know how to keep money. Those days when I was suffering, you know, when you are suffering, you will know how to keep money because you don't want the money to go. Yeah. So I would just go teach. And so I think then, I think that was in 2012, I was making around 160K, 200K every month.
That's 2012?
Yeah. When you combine all those sources. But I still wanted a job because these things were ephemeral.
Yeah.
When you finish teaching the A-level, you know, some point I thought about the fact that maybe I should start this tutorial thing. Maybe I should just gather, you know, but maybe I didn't have it in me. I would rather just go and teach in the center, all of those things. So I continued. So let me backtrack to Yemi. When he told me about, so he introduced me to market research. That's another way people get data from human beings, how they consume and stuff like that. So I started reading about it and I searched for companies that were into market research. So I found Ipsos. And I'm like, okay, Ipsos. So I was just checking their company profile of these things. So I saw the human resource person, but there was no way I could reach out to her. So I just went through that there's something clickable in this thing. How can you get the email from behind? So that was the first time I knew that on a web page, if you inspect that web page, you will see the HTML tag. It will show for you. So you can see the information you're seeing in front. Yeah. There are more information actually at the back. Okay. So that's why I got that email. I know she hears this now, she would never know I got that email because I never told her. So I sent an email directly. So what I did was, all of those things I said I was doing them, I was keeping, I told her that these are the things I'm supposed to do. Data. Interestingly, I got invited for a test. I mean, I've written plenty. I smashed the test. That guy. And so after that same day, they marked, she interviewed me. I said, am I good at mathematics? I said, try me again. I said, try me again. I said, yeah. I said, okay. So you show that there's no rule currently that if there's any in the world. So I think it was the following month, I got a text message from them that I should come for a formal interview, case study interview. They gave me the case study, like 20 pages. Okay, I read it, answered the questions. It was time for the interview. I think the assistant MD was an interview. The director that was supposed to was an interview. Imagine, I will tell you why I had all of these people on the panel. It's interesting because it was an entry level role.
Yeah.
So, but the one thing that I left that interview with was the fact that the guy, a white guy, said, I've been doing interviews for the last 13 years. I've never seen anybody as confident as you are. I said, that was how I know I got the job. But when I saw the offer, it was 65,000 there. I thought to myself, maybe I should just go and doing this also of teaching here. You know, now if you combine 200,000, if it's not bad month, maybe 150, 65,000. Yeah. So this would have all this would have worked, all these things. So this is how they suffer. That was the whole idea. I called my friends then. I said, see, they gave me offer of 65,000. Man, I'm not doing it. She said, do it. Father Lord. And thank God I listened to her because I was going to decline the offer. Because you can't compare it. Even if I go and queue. There was a time I went to queue. I want to do that. I think it was like a group trip. I made 220,000. That day I left Lagos. I went to Ibadan to go and largesse. I've never made it in one transaction. I told her, I say, I'm coming to Ibadan to spend the weekend. With the money has come. And it was funny. Because how can you, because it means that you're going to leave all of these things and face a 65,000 rand job. So I took it, I listened to her. And I started. Interestingly, 6 months down the line, I had a new colleague that I knew in school, but was earning 300,000. The same job. How did I know? That day you stood up, and for some reason I just opened his drawer and I saw his offer letter. That's why I said, oh boy, the same work.
Wow.
Wow. But I didn't feel, it wasn't his fault. I didn't feel bad. There was no kind of hatred. We were working together similarly. I'm sure that he never knew that I saw that. I didn't show anything. I didn't feel anyhow. I was sad with the business. I was not happy to say that maybe they're actually following me. And I wanted to get married.
Yeah.
Coach was getting old. She has tried now.
You've been dating
this is 2014 and we started dating late 2007.
So you are dated for 7 years then?
Yeah. I'm like, even doing, I mean, okay, so I continued. The following year, the guy just said, there's somebody that reached out to me. I said there's one opening at AC Nelson. He told the lady that he's already doing something here.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to. He said, but I know somebody that is better. That was the word he used. I know somebody better than I do.
Oh, wow.
He said, really? So he gave my CV to the woman. It's from Cyprus. On a Saturday morning, I got a call from Cyprus. And we spoke for 45 minutes. And I think by the end of that day, I was supposed to appear for a test. I think on Monday at this university. When we got to the place, want to write the test, I saw some people with ID card, First Bank, Access Bank. I was like, what the? Then I didn't even know that they used to use people for. I thought they were full-time employees. I didn't know some of them were contracts. So in my head, I was like, I'm in First Bank. I can be Access Bank. You come and write. You want to come and write tests with me? I mean, I'm even struggling. This is 5,000 I was collecting from that place. That you come back. To cut long story short, I came out of number one and came for the interview. I think then it was an Indian, the MD. I can't forget his name. Ash. That's short form. Ash. I can't remember the full name, but call him Ash. Said, I actually want to see what you're going to do with this business. As in, the guy felt like, okay, there was a gap between the people
that came for the interview,
the first and the rest. That kind of, who are you? And I joined. Interestingly, when they gave me the offer, I think it was 220k net. Where I was coming from. 65. So I jumped at it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I was low ball. I didn't even argue with anybody. Yeah. You see 65k to 220.
Yes.
I didn't know that I was paid half the price. This life is a pot of peace. Because obviously, when they say bring your pay slip, I sent it them. 65,000. So they've done well.
Yes.
From 65 to 220 is a whole lot. Is a whole lot of difference. So I jumped at it.
Yeah.
There was no point. Before they changed their mind, there's no point arguing. Let me just collect the offer like that. So I was happy I was happy because I listened to my wife. I took that offer. If I didn't take the offer, obviously there was no way I would have met this guy that we were colleagues in school.
Yeah, your friend.
Yeah, there was no way that now recommended me. Yeah. So there was no way.
Yes.
So I was happy. It was a year after I noticed that I was cheated. And I had a colleague then that it was the same level. But because he joined the business before me, it was almost doing like I was reporting to him. And the funny thing was that it was until our line manager said, hey, Nobody is senior amongst of you. If I give you, so when they give him work to do, you will come and give me. Until the guy knew that, oh, this guy had stuff. That was it. Was Alexander saying that I was able to display a bit of my progress and stuff like that. And in another 18 months, first off, I was paid arrears of that entire period that I was lowballed, because when they rebalanced the scale, I was paid arrears of it. That was the money I used for my wedding.
Wait, did something happen for them?
So what happened was the fact that, so the HR then, I can't remember the name, called me and said that, I see the way you work. So because I was working, because I had a strong Excel data skill, so I was helping a lot of team to accelerate their work, automate their work, do all of those things. Excel was the in thing then, if you could automate things in Excel. So they will go and promise client stuff because they know Joseph is going to automate it for them. So the woman was seeing all of those things. And she just called me and said, maybe she just went to check the salary scale again. And I felt like, this boy cannot be doing this much work. And alongside with his own personal deliverables. And they were paying him. So she went to global, she fought for it, she actually fought for it. So, the way the global will not focus on one person, they now say they need to rebase salary. So rebasing the salary, they paid me arrears of it. So I told my wife, it's time to marry. There was money to marry now.
Yeah.
That was the money I used to get married, because it was a lump sum. Because the truth of the matter is that I will probably have needed to work maybe one more year, save. So I was able to get married 2015. It would have probably been longer than that. Yes. But because the money came, we were able to use it. I knew I was going to survive, no worries, no problem. We'll be surviving now. And that was it. And in 18 months, I was promoted twice.
Wow, outstanding. Your story is actually very, very, very beautiful, because there's a lot to unpack from the story you just shared now. Like, starting from not getting a job, not saying I do, not getting into the pity mode of, I'm smarter than the guys that are already working in this industry. There's a mentality when you are smart and you feel like you start hating on people, on people and not relating with them the way you should, because you feel like you're smarter than them and you're not getting the opportunities they have access to. But you stayed humble, you kept being friends with them, and you were even going to queue on for your friends also, and just doing that open pathway for you to access internet, to use the laptop, to start learning Excel. And one thing that was really outstanding again is that you never said I do.
I didn't.
You never said I do. Whatever you found yourself doing, you did it so greatly. And one thing that busted my brain was your negotiation skill when you wanted to go for a course you really wanted. Along the line, I was disappointed when you went to get on that job. Because I actually felt that from the beginning, like, your negotiation skill was top notch. You wanted to get a skill, you could not pay for it, but you had a track record of what you could do yourself. Yes. I like that you were keeping record of your achievements. Even though others did not see it as an achievement, you knew what you were doing, although you were learning. You kept your own record of your achievements. Yeah. And when you wanted to negotiate, you brought it out, like, I can do this and this for you. And you were able to get that spot.
Yeah.
So along the line, I actually thought that as you were going into the career path,
I would probably use it.
Especially the fact that when you got the lower job of 65,000 naira, you knew your mate was getting 300 plus. So I felt like maybe that mindset, you were going to use it in the next job. But it's understandable that, like, the gap was so much for you. So this is to say that this journey, how has it changed your view of the struggles of life, uncertainties that comes with life? Because it's really a lot that you even felt like maybe you had been, maybe people from your father's house were after you. So what did this journey teach you personally?
I think in hindsight, I think I will pick from what you said. That was because, remember, I think it was a bit of a trauma. I think the way people will look at it now, it's like a trauma in the sense that I had opportunities to work in a corporate environment that I didn't get. It was not possible for me. So maybe I had that trauma in any way. So I felt like anybody giving me an offer or a job was like taking a bet on me in a way. It was more like a bet. Even though I was sure I could deliver on the job, it was like a bet. And I felt like, okay, it's a bet. Let me come and prove myself. So it wasn't about the fact that it's now that if I probably get an offer, and I would probably say, this is what it should be before I even start at all. So it was more like a bet for me. So I think it was a bit from a bit of trauma to say, because they could put things on the table. They told me, you don't have any experience. And that's the truth. I didn't have any experience. I'd never worked in a corporate world before. So the point is, what is that bargain that you can bring? What can you bring to the table? Even though I knew I had the skills, even though they knew, when I wanted to leave Ipsos then, they were telling me that the fact that, oh, we'll take you to Kenya to go and do this, go and do it for like 1 year. To me, they knew my worth. It was when I wanted to move to MultiChoice that I said, oh, this time around, I'm going to negotiate well.
Because now you understand the system. I think I like the fact that you mentioned that you are acknowledging that you never had experience and you have been given an opportunity. So getting on board rather than being one of the complacent employees, you gave your best. And at the end of the day, you saw somebody that even fought for you along the line. So that's actually really beautiful. So employees that are feeling underpaid, that are feeling that their values, they should just keep at it. I think to a very large extent, the universe will sort of align in your favor. And as Christians, you need to understand the fact that you have the same way you have an advocate with the Father. You'll always give an advocate. There will always be somebody that will bang the door behind, that will bang the table behind you. You're not there, behind closed door. The person will bang that table. There's no how. But you just need to keep at it. But the truth is, the matter of fact that how long a lot of people don't have that tenacity because you just want to get the result now. And for me, and I think that that's the same spirit that I have. So if I look at you now, for example, and I feel that really, if you do a critical look of intellect, critical look of how we can sort of solve problem, I know that I'm better than you. I know, I am confident. But if you have a better opportunity than I have, I don't envy. I don't know how to envy. Maybe it's just me. I don't know how to envy. You see, I would rather say, sis, if you don't mind, this thing you are doing, can you give me 1 or 2 ideas? How can I to achieve it? I don't know how to envy. So if my friend is doing well, you see, it's better for him to do well. Because I will latch on him. If he now says don't latch on me, I will take I know that he's not my friend, but you're doing well. It's my best advantage. So I see my friends doing well as an advantage for me to say that if my friend is up there, that means if it's time for me to get up there, I know I can reach out to him. So I will not be angry that my friend is up there. I will not be angry that my friend is a billionaire tomorrow, because I know the pathway of being a billionaire is very close to me. Because he's a billionaire. I know the pathway. And I will hold him by the jugular to say, hey, if you're my friend, you will show me the pathway to also show you the pathway, but not to spoon feed.
No, it won't spoon feed you. That's why I say you will show me the pathway. He will show me the pathway. He will. He has to show me. He will show me the pathway. Say, this is what I did and did. And I will say, how can I bring this to my own context so that I can also achieve the same goal? Because I may not be in the same field as he's doing, but I will bring that's the pathway. Somebody shows you it's the same way to say that if you want to, Jesus Christ is that pathway. It's not that Jesus Christ will drag you like this and will take you to heaven or will take you to paradise. Just believe in him. He's the pathway to it. And follow that pathway and you will get the desired result that you want. It's not a function of, I don't even, if I spoon feed you, just know I don't love you.
Wow. Thank you so much. So I think I will just give us briefly how you are, like your journey in the that career path has transitioned, because I know you worked in multiple industry. From working with MTN to MultiChoice, and now you lead data and business intelligence.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, because I know quite a number of people are into that data analysis space.
I like the space you're coming to.
They're into that space. So, I know that I like that you said you know the space I'm going to. So, let's get into it.
Interestingly, a lot of people have reached out to me, because they feel, I tell people, something must be your drive.
Yeah.
Something must drive you. If it's money that is your driving force, this is fine. It's fine, not a problem. But let that money drive you, obviously not to do the bad things, but let that drive you to really getting that money. So if anybody came to me, for example, to say, oh, I love what you do in data analytics, how can I get in this field? I will ask the first question, why do you want to go to the field? Why? It's the same way somebody say, why do you want to marry this girl?
Yeah.
There has to be a why. So why do you want to go in this field? If you don't need to say, I love it, because you will get to a point, the love you have for it, the same way in marriage, say sometimes the love you have for your wife is not what will sustain you.
Yeah.
There are deeper things. Do you get? So for me, it's not about the fact that even if you say, I just love it, tell me the real driving force. If it is money, I think I like it. I prefer somebody told me that, money is my driving force to this thing. So let that money drive you. Then I will now tell you, backtrack.
Yeah.
To say that your end goal is money, right? Okay, then let us start with money. There's something that there are things that are required. They are foundations. The same way, okay, the end goal is the fact that you want to marry this person, but there are foundations that you need to put in place. Now that's the foundation I will do. And every single time when I train people, I will say, whatever training I give you, because I don't spoon feed, I can help you with your work. When I help you once, I will tell you this is what I did. This is how I helped you. I expect that you don't come to me for the same help again. You should be able to take on. And I do it. I do it for my sister. So I will help you with this thing. Now, this is how I helped you. This is what the things like this were the places I went to. You can also do it. Meaning that you can do it yourself. Our field is more, the tech field is more like portfolio. What are the things that you have built? Whether they gave it to you as a task or you sort of built it yourself. So there are a lot of places where you can go to where you can see standard industry problems that you can try to solve on your own. And today is a democratized world. With the advent of AI, you can do a lot of things by yourself. It means that's why I said I start with the heart, because the heart is one that opens your thinking into what is possible. It's not about really doing the work. Today, if I wanted to build a model to probably solve a problem of card fraud, I can go to AI to tell me to build it for me. I can give it sample data to do that for me. Now, but the question is the fact that, are you able to detect when AI is doing something that is off? If you don't learn that art, you will find out that you're able to discover, you're able to detect those things, and you're able to really achieve the result you want to achieve at the end of the day. It's like somebody is now helping you do your work. But because you have the knowledge, you can detect, you can identify when the person is going off, and you can say, hey, come back here. And that's why I think AI is now doing. But a lot of people that don't have that foundation, that groundwork, will struggle, will find it difficult. Those are the ones that AI will take their job because they are not really grounded. They don't have that foundation. Basically, so that's the way I sort of see it.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So for somebody saying that I want to go into data analysis, I've been hearing about this. How can they venture into it? And when they even start at the base level, what do you think they should have at the back of their mind to actually grow and be successful in that field?
First thing first, it's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be something that you can just hit on and move on like that. Even if you say today there is AI, and you sort of want to use AI to sort of accelerate your growth, you first need to understand the basics. Because it's like AI is going to work with you with somebody that has an understanding. So even today, when people say, how do you make AI teach you, give you a part to learn, he will say, maybe teach me like a 5-year-old or stuff like that. But that foundation, so it's something we call domain expertise. It is important, and that is what consultants really enjoy. They try to understand the domain. When you understand the domain, you can ask the right questions. If today I go into the field of crypto, or I go into the field of medicine, this has to do with data with medicine, I need to understand domain. So I need to read books. I need to learn. So I think that's a lot of problems that people are facing today. They don't really want to learn. You need to go into the domain. So people want the fast track. So they want to probably use AI to learn. They want to watch video. But there's a part where you need to be ingrained. It's like saying that I want to be able to quote a lot of scriptures, but you want to listen to a sermon by being able to do that. You need to go into the Bible itself, study the Bible. That's the way you can learn how to be able to. When you learn, you have that retentive memory. You can call it out at the time that is needed. So the same way you need that domain understanding. So anybody that wants to go into it needs to understand the fact that it's not an easy road. That's the truth. Don't think it's going to be easy for you. Don't think it's going to be, oh, yes, I know you are Christian. You have the mind of Christ. You have this thing. It takes a lot of tenacity. It takes a lot of hard work. That's the truth. The same way you think that if you want to really be a Bible juggernaut, it takes the hard work of studying the Bible. The same way it takes the hard work of understanding the domain. So you need to be able to burn those midnight candles. When people are asleep, you stay up late. That's the only way you can get ahead. That's the truth. Because usually there's no time. You see, a lot of time, people think is that thing you're doing is for a short while. You are not obviously going to be burning the night candle all through the days of your life. It's for a short period of time. So you know that this thing is, I'm not trying you to set a goal for yourself, because I've come to realize over the years that when people set goals like that, it looks like, they are under a lot of pressure. That's not the way I'm trying to tell you to do. What I'm trying to say is the fact that, yes, this is what I want to achieve. Now, periodically pace yourself to achieving those things. So I know that, this thing, I want to focus on it. I am doing this work. I want to transition to this. I come back from work at maybe 8 p.m. Even if it's 1 hour, if it's 2 hours. Don't try to set target that every day I must do 3 hours. If the same way somebody says every day I must pray 1 hour, start with 5 minutes. Make it habitual, because it is habits that you form that helps you better. So for me now, the answer what I would tell people is that begin to form the habits of a data analyst. Don't try at every point in time, try to want to analyze everything. Yeah. When somebody tells you something, try to want to analyze it. Don't give an answer. Form the habits, not the goal. The goal is not for you to be a data analyst or a data scientist or whatever it is. The goal is you want to form the habits. So make your learning journey habitual, because it's habits. And when you say that it's part of him, he can't leave it. Yeah. That thing has become an habit for that person. Then habits now become a lifestyle. So for me, I would tell people, don't try to have a goal of 3 months. Don't try to have a goal of 6 months. Don't try to have a goal of 1 year. Yeah. You are interested in it, you love it, begin the habits now. Start with it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's hard today. Hey, leave it. Come back again. Don't say because it's hard, you leave it. When it's a goal, when it's hard, you are likely not going to come back to the game because you feel like you can't achieve that goal. Because every time we get a roadblock or a stumbling block when we are looking at the goal, it makes the goal unachievable. That's the way it looks like. But when it becomes an habit, it's something you are trying to form. Even whatever obstacle you face, you will see that it's easier for you to surmount it because it's not a goal for you. And before you know it, you probably even achieve it before that timeline. So I think for me, what I would advise is that the way you pick up habits, the way you pick up things, do the same for data analysis. To say this is what I want to be able to do at the end of the day. Then begin to form my habits. 1 hour, 30 minutes every day. Learn something about it. Read something about it. Let it be like habits. If it's an article, just make sure that 1 day does not go past without learning something about it.
And based on what you've said now, you can actually easily get resources to learn about it.
You're on your phone, you have ChatGPT, just Google
ChatGPT. You can learn from on YouTube.
Just
Coursera.
all of those things. You are traveling, you are somebody is driving you, just go to YouTube and just be watching that thing. You are not trying to carry a computer and just make it an habit. Let it look like I can't do without this thing.
All right. Thank you so much. So this last question will be 2 in 1. Okay. So briefly, I want you to just briefly tell us what you've been able to achieve thus far. Reason is to actually encourage someone that feels stuck right now, feels uncertain, feels under-resourced, and unsure where life is headed. What would you want them to hear from your story? Because, your journey has shown that you were also uncertain. You also did not have a lot of resources. So this is to encourage them as well. So you tell us what you've been able to achieve, then also give them give them a word that they can hold on to us, like how they can undo the season. So what you're telling us is to give them hope, right? Yeah. And also to show them a pathway as well during this season?
So I would say the word coming to my head is voracious now, and that's the way an hungry lion is. So hunger will vet your level of what's that? How well are you hungry for it? And that will show the level of your voraciousness. To say that, the way you see something and you just want to really. So now, in this, let that be a drive in your mind. So what I'm going to achieve? I think for me, one of the things I feel like is that there's nothing that I can do. And I will borrow from God. I can do all things, Philippians 4:19, through Christ that strengthens me. So understand the fact that I can actually do all things. Are there days that I feel down? Absolutely. Even currently, as I am like this, are there days I feel like maybe I'm not enough? Obviously. But always remember the fact that you can actually do all things through Christ. You can actually, that statement really means a lot. And the question you ask yourself is, when I say I can do all things, and I ask myself, what are those things I desire to do? Don't just say it on the surface level that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Say, what are those things that I actually want to do, that I need strength for? If you don't know those things, then what is Christ wants to, what that Christ wants to strengthen? You don't even have a baseline, nothing. So you need to have that thing itself that you really want to do, that you are hungry about, that you are voracious about. Then you will know that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. So when you're able to identify those things, what are the key levers that I need for me to be able to achieve this goal? Identify those things yourself. See, no one can identify those levers for you. We are different. We are different. So for me, I think one of the things I did was that, what are the key levers that will allow me to achieve this thing? I know the fact that I need to build relationships, in the sense that, okay, I know that who are the people that I can identify in this field. I can just begin to watch. The truth of the matter was the fact that most of these were actually people that I didn't see physically. They were on YouTube. I was modeling my life because I felt they were successful in that field. So I was modeling the things they were doing. So I was constantly watching them. So the only way to see what they are doing is to watch them. Because thank God they were producing content. But thank God today we have a lot of people. So you need to, the same way Paul will say, follow me as I follow Christ. It means model. I'm trying to model something, Christ. Follow that model. So I need to identify those key stakeholders. You don't need to know them. They don't need to know your name. You know, everyone wants to all these farms in that you want to, I want to be like him. And because of that, he has to know me. You are wasting your time. You don't need to know the person physically. You don't need to interact with the person. You don't need to go to his house. You see, what is the good of it? You can know the things the person is doing. You can constantly listen to that person, with that person not knowing that, this person, I'm trying to follow him. For example, I want to be like maybe Dr. Bola, for example. I want to be like him. I will begin to watch things. I don't need to go and meet him that, hello, sir. You see, I've been watching you from afar. You see, you are wasting your time. You can actually learn a few. You don't need to know about the intricacies of his life. Yeah. If you're even getting close to him, you will know his faults. Yeah. And that thing can even decline your judgment. See, you see that success you are seeing that you want to look like, you can actually see it open. Yeah. You can model after it. So you need to find those key stakeholders. And that's where it works in the NBA. For you to move on, you have a project that you want to be successful. That's key stakeholders that you need to bring on board. The same way, take your life as that project. Take that as a project. Who are the key stakeholders in that journey? I was able to identify that. Like I said, you don't need to know them physically. Yeah. You don't need to interact with them. You don't need to know your name. Identify those key stakeholders and begin to follow them. Yeah. Follow them. Follow what they do. As Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. Meaning that he's sure for Paul, he will never miss it. Yeah. So if you follow him, don't worry. So those people too, let them be stakeholders in your life, and you will see that you will get the result that you desire.
So thank you so much for joining us on Becoming Story. Your story is a powerful reminder that one who stays committed to growth will surely bet something truly meaningful. We sincerely appreciate you for joining us. And to everybody listening to us on Becoming Story, don't forget that your story is still unfolding. Trust the process, keep believing, and don't stop becoming. See you in the next video.